of East, a Kenyan of African origin. Kenya is a country found in Eastern Africa. And of course, I am an alumni of the African Rebirth cohort program. And I'm very proud to be part of this, to be part of today's meeting, especially having undergone through the previous classes and having learned a lot. And of course, having benefited from the program myself. So for today, I'll be taking you through the program. I'll be your moderator and feel very much welcome. So first of all, I would like to very, very briefly tell you about African Rebirth, and of course, introduce to you and make you familiar with what African Rebirth does. So basically, the major aim of African Rebirth, and of course, as our CEO and other members of the executive will be expounding on later on, is to create an intergenerational group of leaders whose aim is to choose peace over war, and of course, to choose prosperity over mediocrity. So basically, the major aim of the African Rebirth program, mentorship program, is to ensure that by the end of the day, we change our mindsets, especially being African. And of course, now where Africa is unfortunately viewed by probably other continents as one of the dark continents, and probably people perceive it as a place whereby nothing good can come out of it. So the purpose of African Rebirth mentorship program is to change this mindset and instill in us a better mindset, of course, of not being average, but being excellent in nature. So basically, you've made a wise choice to apply for this program. And of course, congratulations to all of you who made it to be in this program. Of course, I understand there are many applicants. There are several people who applied and unfortunately probably did not make it. But for you who made it, congratulations. And of course, it's a major step in life. And I want to assure you that this is worth your time. It is worth your energy. It is worth your investment, of course, and by the end of the day, you shall benefit not only in terms of probably certificates, but also in terms of personal gains, whereby you shall have a networking, I believe later on. And of course, by the end of the day, whatever is being instilled, it's not about just to end as soon as the mentorship program ends. It's all about impacting us for a lifetime and gaining the skills that are very important that will be used not only for now, but even for the future. I believe as Africans, we should be united. And of course, the African Rebirth brings members from various African countries. And of course, this is one thing that is very important for us. And to move on and as we network and of course, benefit from each other, learn from each other. And by the end of it, we just program, we shall have seen a tremendous change in terms of our minds, and we shall have seen a tremendous change in terms of the way we view things. So welcome so much, and congrats to all of you who made it to join. So as I proceed, I would love to welcome probably one of the executive members of the African Rebirth, so that he or she can give some remarks even as we move on. So Macklin Zumakunda, if you can get me. Okay. Macklin, not around. Fine. If we can have Achai to give us. Achai, Cole, kindly will you give your remarks? Achai, Cole. Achai, Cole, can you get me?
I think she's unmute. Let's try to unmute her. Are you okay now?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, so my name is Achai Kwal. I've also been part of this program and benefited greatly from it. As Cephas has spoken, it can be exceedingly transformative. You get to participate in different MUN sessions where you debate on some of the issues facing Africa and just coming up with solutions with other people from the continent. Also, it's a great opportunity to develop your public speaking skills and really just to be bold and to be out there. So I encourage you all to make the most of it, to put all your heart into it and to enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chai. As you've heard, I first of all believe that we have our pens and paper on so that we can note down some few things that we'll learn from our speakers. So thank you so much, Chai, for your comments. I believe we shall continue learning as we move on with the program. So I'd love to welcome William to give a remark or two as we proceed.
William, you there? Hello?
All right, thank you. I was unable to unmute. All right, thank you so much for the opportunity to give my remarks. And congratulations to everyone that has made it to this program and this mentorship. And we hope that we'll dedicate ourselves to be part of this training and we'll learn something new every time to attend the program. My name is Velem Salomo. I'm also part of the executive of the African Rebirth, and I'll mostly be touching on our time management. As you can see that we really respect time, that if we are saying it's 6 o'clock CAT, and then that is the time that we're actually gonna start. So we just want to, we are humbly requesting everyone to always respect time when it comes to this training. That's why even in the interviews, it was actually highlighted that if you are able to commit for this program. Secondly, with our guest speakers, when they speak or when they present, there will be a time for questions. Everyone who has a question will be attended to, because that is the purpose of the training. You can't be training people and you are not giving them a chance to ask questions and understand where they don't understand. So you'll be given a time that you'll be able to ask our guest speakers questions related to their topic that they're actually presenting or they're actually discussing. So that is mostly it. I think if there's anything that is unclear, we can always put it in the chat and you can always ask for clarity as well on the group. And one last thing is that we have a communication team that will always communicate to us on the time of the trainings or the time of the sessions. So please, whenever they say that is 1 hour remaining, that is 1 hour. So let us just be following up on that as well to make sure that we don't miss this training, because they always be updating us on the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, William. William, for your remarks, we appreciate. Thank you, William, for your remarks. We really appreciate them, as you have heard about time. Actually, that's one thing I really learned from this program while I was a member of this program back in the 6th cohort. That we should always be disciplined. And of course, this is something that. Kindly, will you mute your mic if you are not speaking? Thank you. For saying about time management is something that really is one of the causes of indisciplines in the African continent. And one thing with this program that I learned is about that when we say it's a certain time, we must always keep it, because by the end of the day, I realized that time will never wait for anything. That's one thing. And of course, time dictates opportunities. Sometimes you may end up losing very important opportunities simply because you wasted your time, or you may even end up missing flights and such like things because you did not keep your time. And of course, so it's very important as we move on. This is something that should get into us so that even after the program, whichever the commitments that we have, even in our jobs, probably for those of us who are working and those of us who are students in our studies, you always keep good time so that by the end of the day, we can get very good results from whatever we are doing. So as we move on, finally, I'll have to welcome Macklin if she's around to give her remark as the second last member of the executive team of African Rebirth. Macklin.
I don't think she's around. She hasn't joined yet.
All right. So before I hand over the chance to our CEO and our founder, Mr. Enoch, I would love to encourage all of us to make use of the chat box down there for those of us who are using the phone. Whereby we can chat and probably do our own introduction. You would say your name, the country that you are from, and probably your profession. If you are working and if you're a student, you can say you are whatever you are studying, whichever the university you are studying. I think it will be a very important moment for us, so that even as we meet, we shall not be meeting as strangers, but rather people who are familiar to each other. So even as we move on, finally, for my remarks, I would love to say that African Rebirth indeed did give me a platform to practice on how to, when it comes to public speaking and of course, improving my oratory skills. Of course, this is a journey that takes time, but due to African Rebirth, I was able to improve my oratory skills by a big percentage, and of course, increasing the confidence so that one has when speaking in front of an audience. In terms of content planning, what you have to speak, when you have to speak, and how you have to speak it. So these are some of the important aspects that I did learn from African Rebirth. So that's why I keep on insisting that this is indeed a worthy investment. And so I can assure you that you shall not feel people say that we underwent a certain program, it was not of benefit. No, this program, if you're not willing for it to benefit you, it will not. But if you're willing to learn, I can assure you this is the right place to learn, and the right place by the end of the day to network. So with that, allow me to welcome our CEO and our founder, Mr. Enoch, for his remarks. Welcome, Enoch.
Thank you very much, Cephas. Please appreciate Cephas for the great work for moderating the panel, and welcome everyone. Cephas was our best overall tournament speaker. He's a great chap on public speaking. So we want to keep in touch with him. If you have confidence issues, self-confidence, self-image, please keep in touch with him. And I appreciate our team. Chai is our communication director, William, coordinator, and Macklin, who's not here. She'll be reaching out. She's also in charge of communication. So welcome everyone, and I want to welcome everyone. So my surprise is when I check the group, we are about 90 people. I can only see 50 something in the group. So that speaks volume at the start of event orientation. So maybe part of it is because people don't know. So that's why orientation is important. People might be used to, walking in the group and just, just walk in and come in attending. It's not about attending. So give me a quick minute here. Yeah, I was saying that it's very important that we strike from the beginning. We know what's African Rebirth, what do we stand for, so that when we are going into the program, you're sure of the thing you're going into it, the principles and what we stand for. Because it's important, you can still make up your mind and say, may not meet the standards, and you are free to go. But when you apprehend the standard, and you're good to go, that's the most important thing, because that's the part of orientation. Orientation is not only to tell you what the program is, but it's also to engage that am I going to fit into the program? Can it meet my ambitions or interests? So that's why orientation is very important. So what is African Rebirth? The name Rebirth, I want you to seriously, these words are coined on purpose. African Rebirth. Now, rebirth in simple English means reborn. Now, you can put it in your local language. All of you here from any different African country, put it in your local language. What does rebirth mean? You know, rebirth means reborn. So something to be reborn means something might have died. You've heard about those who go to church, the second resurrection of Jesus, those who resurrected from the dead. So they first died. That's why there is a reborn, a rebirth. And second thing that might cause a rebirth is when something is not growing, so it's static. When something is not growing, malnourished, is not growing. So when you give it more nutrients, it revamps. So it is reborn. So African rebirth means to reborn, to rebirth, to bring life again. It doesn't mean life wasn't there. It means life was there in the first place. And this is coined depending on the critical conditions currently face Africa, the historical, the current conditions. When you check our political systems, how we do stuff, the work ethic, how we are ranked on a global scale, our influence in international affairs, don't you think we need to be reborn? So that's where now African rebirth comes in. And I wouldn't waste my time talking to people who are 60s, 70s. Their role is over. You know, how much you complain, their role is over. But the fertile soil are the young people now. But young people risk two dangerous things. One, to remain the captive of the past, or to even become worse than the past, the present. Depends on orientation. That's why orientation is very, very key. So what I'm saying today is you've joined an organization that is not a normal, you know, coming and training, getting a certificate. It's a more of a historical mission. So that's why high level of commitment, intense commitment, and intellectualism is key. Yeah, because we don't want to just raise a number. We want to raise leaders who are committed to the greater cause. That's why our mission is a prosperous and united Africa. Our vision. That's our mission is to defy mediocrity, inspire and empower young African leaders who seek peace, unity, prosperity. Now, the most important word there in our mission statement is mediocrity, defying mediocrity. What's mediocrity? Average. We've seen a student who's supposed to score 90, but is scoring 40. You know, you have a greater potential, but you're not using it. The African context resonates with this mission. You'd wonder, the most richest, you know, all those statistics, it's almost like a song, the richest continent yet the poorest. Those are two paradoxes that we must solve. Defying mediocrity means we're going to rise above. We're going to rise above the standards, the current standards. We're going to rise above the political structure, the leadership structure. I know many of us here, when you say, what is the current conditions facing Africa? All of you say corruption, leadership, what and what. But people forget that leaders don't emanate from heaven. They don't fall like manna from heaven. they are community-based. So the problem is not the president who's at the top. The bigger problem is the society orientation, the change of mindset, the approach to leadership, the instance of defining mediocrity. I don't know whether people like too much mediocrity. I don't know, how people even respond to time management. You can respond. How people work ethic. Work ethic is very important, as you rise, because today you might criticize the guy who's at the top in the government, the prime minister, president, deputy prime minister, wherever, just because you've not reached there. But where you might find the work ethic, the mentality is the same. So you are not going to be any different than the other person. You actually be worse than the person. So our problem here at the African Rebirth and the entire continent is getting young people who are really geared up for a greater new Africa. So if you can forget everything you might have said, or African Rebirth, mediocrity, defy mediocrity, and mediocrity goes even to a person. You're supposed to be in a certain level, but you're still on the same level. Why not? Check how you manage stuff, how you set goals at a personal level, how you set what are your leadership contributions, mindset change, so that's what. Now I can break down. Now you would ask, wow, what are you talking about? What is mediocrity? I can give you tons of examples. Have you ever wondered why Africa is still ranked the poorest continent? It's not because we lack wonderful people who know the Chinese theory and can draft very astronomical economic policies to revive the economy. So it's not because we are short of strategists in politics and vision. It's not because we are short of science, innovators in tech. It's not we are short of entrepreneurs with massive innovation and creativity that can create multi-billion-dollar businesses that last for generations. It is a mindset change, dependency syndrome, like viewing things the way they are as the way they have been. You must change. We must change. And I'm not talking about you. When I say we, I'm talking us all. So you are welcome to African Rebirth with this mindset. It's going to set a standard, because our vision or my passion is not just to raise local leaders, that's community leaders, that's cell leaders, that's what. I am committed, and I will envision raising top national leaders, top CEOs, top prime ministers, presidents, people who make decisions on power. So if you are not fit for this, I would tell you that you better get out, because this is a bus of high dreamers. So if you are not fit for the position, that you can get out. But I am convinced, again, beyond doubt, that because even by the fact that you apply to this program and you are admitted to this program, you are very fit for top job. So you are the right people. Deal still. So that's our mission. And I'm telling you why. And the most important thing that, again, you see is peace, unity, and prosperity. Now, this has been a song for many generations. Africans need to unite. Africans need peace. Unite on what? That's the important thing. What should we unite on? What should we do together? We are saying at African Rebirth, let's unite on our interests. Don't care whether you come from my tribe or my country or what. What do you need as a person? The most important thing. Whether you're an African, whether you're a black man, whether you're a white man, I don't care where you come from. As long as you're human, you need three important things. One, you need security. That's why When a person gets some bit of money, employees get wires, cameras, and what to feel secure. They need security. Security, you need food. You can't survive without food. So you need security. So at least the minimum, if you're poor at what level, but the minimum, you need like to go lock in your little house if someone is poor, but you are sure of your security more that no one's going to follow you in your house and kill you. That's the minimum. Whether you're a president, whether you're not, that is what you need. Second, you need means of survival. And that's when it comes to economy, money. Yeah, you need the means to survive. You need, and I'm talking the bare minimum to survive. I'm talking about, I'm not talking about abundance, wealth. I'm talking about minimum, bare minimum. Go to any slum in any city where you come from. Those people are poor, but the bare minimum is food. They can't live without food, you know? So the bare minimum is a means to survive, some sort of finance to survive. And the third thing people need is peace, you know, peace from the inside. You know, you have heard people say, you are rich. No, you are rich at heart, but poor in physical stuff, material stuff. People are meaning the peace at heart. You know, they're not in a conflict with themselves. And you've had like very successful people who are not peaceful within themselves. They end up committing suicide. You need inner peace. You need that. But all that combined. Now let's shift to a more strategic. Let's look at community, nation, continent. At the bare minimum, we need security. You know, let's unite on our strategic security interests, because when a bomb breaks out in Kenya, probably someone in Rwanda will be affected in one way or the other. You know, when there is war, like in DRC, the neighboring countries suffer. Now you might say how? They suffer refugee crisis, they suffer setbacks, food supply chain, a lot of things. You guys are smarter than I on that. So there is collective interest. That second thing, we need to unite on economic, you know, entrepreneurship. Because if I do business in Zimbabwe and I am free to move and do business in Malawi, I all need you a contact that we can do business together. So we need to seal that deal of economic prosperity. And of course, at the end of the day, we achieve unity, we achieve prosperity because everyone wins on interests, you know? So gone are the days when people look into their small tribes, you know, inner looking. We need to be out looking and connect spectrum. So that's why we strive. And that's what we should unite on. Don't unite me, come into with me just because I'm an African. That's not enough. We need a new Pan-Africanism in my own analysis. Is a Pan-Africanism based on strategic interest, but all geared for strategic prosperity. Because gone are the days where there is no spirit of prosperity, wealth creation, you know, define mediocrity, poverty reduction, completely erasing out. We should look out in a more broader sense of prosperity, wealth creation. How do we maximize wealth creation? That's very, very important. So at African Rebirth, all those we unite and bring them. And you can look at the history of the world. There is no empire, there is no country, there is no small kingdom that has been on the top of leadership, superpower, without all those three factors. What makes a superpower is not because of the population. It's because they have economic muscle, It's because they have clearly created the ideological place in the world. And I'll give you an example. The Western world is at the top of the world because they have imported their ideological capacity across the world. But they can't do that without money, without economic muscle, without unity, unifying around their common cause. So that's why the quest for Africans, for new generations of Africans should be. And I believe we are the right place. And our programs, we focus on those. So we know them to four important things there. As leadership, as diplomacy, must have the skills to negotiate. Now people say, oh, am I going to become a diplomat tomorrow? No. Negotiation, diplomatic skills, you need them every day. Negotiating a contract, being on an interview and they ask you how much money you're worth, being a good negotiator, being a good listener, research skills, conflict resolution. This is very important. Then entrepreneurship, which is a bedrock for economic best and development. So that's a very, very important key that we best on too. Then peace building. How do I relate with my neighbor? How do I make peace with my neighbor? Let's do things. One of the things to do to avoid that is working on strategic projects or with common interests linked together. So those are the four things we base on. And I can tell you that now you guys are in the 7th cohort. Yes, if I remember well. The 7th cohort. We have met bright young men and women all over Africa. So I am convinced beyond reasonable doubt that Africa is never and has never been short of human capacity. Never. I'm also convinced beyond reasonable doubt that the most lacking piece link between capacity and chain distribution of resources is ideological orientation. Because look, it doesn't matter how much you're worth, but if you still think you're poor, if you still think that you need someone to boost your development, you need someone, you remain perpetually poor. So we just need to shift the mindset and align our potential and link it to a strong ideological orientation. The belief that we can do it, the belief of defying mediocrity, like going out of your way and doing things uniquely, doing things different. You don't need to discover many things. No, a lot of things have been discovered. World records have been set. You don't need to be the most genius person in the world, the geniuses that have been in the world. You just need to strive to be unique. And in a unique way, in your simple way, in your own way, you can be unique. And that's what our message is at African Rebirth, that you can change the narrative that the world has bested on Africa. Now, I am so fortunate that I have at least been around Africa a few times in some countries, west, east, north, south. Whenever you go to Africa, now you might think, I'm from Ghana. Kenyan problems are not my problems. All Kenyan problems and Ghanaian problems, South Africa problem, even if the so-called South Africa says very advanced, never. We face the same issues. So sooner or later, I wish people would discover that the problem in South Africa is the same, the problem in Kenya is the same problem, in Zimbabwe, same problem, in another country, Senegal, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, everywhere. I wish people would run around, like, what can we do? what can we do together? That's some important thing that we can focus on. And you are in a very diverse group. So if you have a business idea, if you're a business guy who wants to thrive in business, chop around and rise to the top in business arena, you got opportunity. Connect with your fellows in different countries, rally around ideas and see what you can do together. Innovation, revolution, prosperity, wealth creation starts with one person and changes forever. So you can start. So that's what our message is. You can either decide right now whether Africa will still be ranked the poorest continent in 50 years to come, or will be the superpower. The decisions are now, it's not tomorrow, you know? And guess what? In 50 years to come, the leaders now that people criticize, they won't be around. It will be your place. So there's this trend. Those fighting leaders today, the leaders of today, at a certain point, they were criticizing the leaders of the time, how they're very corrupt, how they're selfish, how they do what. Oh, extra ABCD. Now, the leaders now did not change it. It's literally the same or even worse. Now, the young people now are growing leaders, selfish interests, what and what. Tomorrow they will be out, and then you come, and then the young ones will blame. No, we can't keep. That's they call it kitchen sink politics. A kitchen sink. A lot of sinking. So dirty, it's no moving. So we need to go beyond that mediocrity, and we say we are setting a new standard. And we're setting a new movement, we're setting new quality of leaders. That's what we need. And I can speak, we'll be speaking throughout the cohort. I'll touch a few things that we're gonna speak. That's African Rebirth. Now let me go to the nitty-gritty of the program. 6 weeks program. You guys can write it down. 6 weeks program. So be having seminars, entrepreneurship seminars, leadership seminars, diplomatic seminars, peace building seminars. The most important, I will be having invited guests, our guest speakers, our keynote speakers. But that's part of it. Second, we'll be having culture exchange. We call culture exchange diplomacy. I want to hear what the struggles in Zimbabwe, how do you approach life? How do you learn about each other? Culture exchanges program. So be bringing young people together from different parts of Africa and uniting them in small groups, forming small group discussions and connecting them at a personal level. That's number one. The reason why I want to increase our network. You want to learn more a piece about another person's country. Now, some of you know more about Europe than your neighbor in Kenya or Rwanda or Burundi or Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Namibia, everything. You need to know about your region, because you can't function without information. You can't function in the dark. You just need to know information. So that's very important. And the group discussion, small discussion centered around professional culture networking, increasing your network business-wise. Professional people will be grouped according to their profession. So everything I say is documented. We'll send in the group and everyone will have a copy of it. The most important too, I think Achai mentioned about public speaking. We have these events. We want to see public speakers, we want to develop those soft skills of people speaking, expression, confidence, articulacy. We want to see that. We want to develop that. And we'll have all those. So it's not like a lecture, please. Those are expecting it to be a lecture. It's not like a lecture room. It's an intensive cohort. You need at least by the time it's over, everyone would have known each other. That's our goal, and it should be that way. Now, about commitment, attendance, we are very strict on attendance. So the policy is you miss 2 programs and we kick you out. The issue is, it's not an issue actually. Communication, I've seen people lack communication. Now, someone might have a serious problem, a serious one, and doesn't talk to us, and so we are not going to dream to listen to what you're going through unless you tell us, So if you tell us in advance, we understand we're humans. So even if you're going to miss something, you don't need to tell us the reason. You just need that civilly, professional, like I may not make it this Saturday for training or some sort. And we excuse it. So some people just like, oh, it's like going to the market. No, there's a bit of structure here. So just keep that in mind. 2 programs, 2 misses without informing anyone means you are not prepared to defy mediocrity yet. Or your time schedule doesn't meet ours. So it's not because you're a bad person or you're not serious. So because nature and time has not come your way yet. So please keep that in mind. So we'll be having programs over the weekend. The reason why we have programs over the weekend is to ease those who are going to school, those who are working. They have a bit of free time over the weekend. They can spend a few hours. So we'll have seminars mostly Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Now, it's not every day Friday or Saturday. I mean like every Saturday. I mean like every Sunday, Saturday, we're having meetings. No, but those are expected days, Fridays, Saturday, and Sundays, that we'll be having all those events going through. Now, for the main seminars where we have guest speakers, they always be Saturdays, and the time will remain 6 p.m. Now, I saw the drama in the group. People almost ran out. It's not Europe. African time is almost the same, 2 hours difference, something like that. So also this platform, you learn about other countries, partly because people are confused at the time, partly because they don't know what happens in Kenya. They think maybe what is the time in Kenya might be in Zimbabwe, might be European difference time. No, it's just an hour, 2 hour difference. 6 p.m. is the standard time we use. And so don't be confused again. 6 p.m. will always be our time of meeting. Now, I want to coin about time management. We don't wait. When it is 6, it is 6 we start. We don't have this belief like, wait for 5 minutes. No, we don't know your timetable, so we work with our timetable. So meaning that if the meeting starts at 6, it's not the time to join at 6. You should be in at 6, and we start immediately. So that's the most important thing that we should know. Time management is very, very key to success, not only at African Rebirth, but you can tell me even your professional lives. Very, very key. And it's a key, people don't take time too serious. Like, we need to professionalize time. At least let's emulate high-level management, time management skills. So that's it. Time management, commitment, we are all clear. And please, if you have a personal pool, don't inbox the chat, the group. You can inbox us, for a personal matter. You don't need to tell the whole group you're sick. Inbox us. That's your privacy. We strive also to protect your privacy. So that's the most important thing. And those are the few programs that as a start we'll be having. And always, we shall always use a Zoom platform for meetings and trainings and everything. So with those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I would welcome a Q&A, and after I hand over to Cephas. Anyone with a question? Any question? Oh, Rebecca, go ahead. Please go ahead and ask. Is it because you can't talk or?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Oh, okay, Enoch. I said, well done with this wonderful presentation. And you made mention about the 7th cohort, that this very cohort is the 7th cohort so far. And I was so happy with the aim of this rebirth team. You talked about the unity of Africa, and then you talk about economic power to be dependent. Once you're dependent economically, you have your own freedom and you can do other things yourself. Now, my question is this. The question is, these other cohorts that you have finished this particular program with them, are you following them up? Do you know whether they are actually improving in line with what they have learned in their various countries? They are stepping down to other people so that the vision will go wider? Or once they finish the cohort program, you don't get a link with them, you don't know what they're doing over there in their own various countries?
Very good question. No, we have our platform where we have all the people who have participated in our program. So it's a very close, it's like family. You join a wider, bigger family, you know. So it's we have a WhatsApp group. So WhatsApp group always helps people connect. I discovered recently, like people these days like WhatsApp more than else. It's a way that connects people so easily. And mostly on the African continent, it's widely used. So we have a WhatsApp group. So all our members are in the WhatsApp group. And we have, by the way, our offices in Burundi, our headquarters office in Burundi. So we actually do groundwork there. You know, training entrepreneurs, the things I have said, we actually train them physically in Burundi. We engage with, and some of young Burundians who are in the platform, maybe they applied through this, they might have, you know, undergone through intensive programs there. Now, it's very young program, 7th cohort, it's not that big. So the thing is, we want, what do I say? I don't want to police people. Let's put it that way. I don't want to police people, you know. I want to give you the opportunity to expand. So my job is to bring you together, young leaders. Second is to create all these necessary contacts. Our programs, we host national leaders and influential leaders, either in the continent or on a global scale. So we want to listen from the best minds, you know, inspire. And we want to also to connect with the best people and who are the young leaders in the same group. So it's up to you to do an innovation challenge. So the last cohort, what they did, young leaders came together and did what they call a social innovation challenge. It's something related around SDGs and climate change. So what they did is they came together, young leaders from different countries, and formed like a social venture organization or project. and they pitched it. And I think now it's the most selected project, social challenge project, going to be presented. So they have a bigger presentation in Zambia, Lusaka. Now, I had no hand in it, or we had no hand in it as the staff. It is you telling you the power of a network, the power of networking. What can it help you? Are you a business leader? Are you interested in this program? Are you interested in this? Because at the end of the day, you will know each other and continually mentally and sharpening. Now, for the cohort, we continue sharpening the minds, the inspiration, and we still invite influential leaders, big entrepreneurs, big politicians, big diplomats to talk to our entrepreneurs. So mentorship through seminars and inspiration. We keep that, but we don't follow like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, in Kenya, what are you doing? It's a program best. We are adults, so you decide what to do. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, you have answered the question. It's clear.
Very good. Bismarck.
Yeah, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation, and to all the leaders who spoke to us. My question is, does this program has any source of funding, or is there any source of funding for this program?
What exactly?
That's my question.
Oh, source of funding.
Yes, please.
Like someone who injects him money there.
Yes, please.
How can things move without money? We have good money there. There is no problem with that. Yeah. Yes. Any other question?
Hello, I have a question.
Hello. Yes.
Hello. My question is, will the slides be sent to the WhatsApp group?
Of course. You got it. Well, everything I've said will be sent to you in the WhatsApp group. Okay. This person with an iPhone, are you there? An iPhone guy? You can speak. All right. If there is no any other question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Abdullah Ismail Abdullah by name, from Nigeria. I want to thank you, Mr. Enoch, for the insightful submission about African Rebirth, and we must have to be really proud of young people for pulling, one of the most insightful, programs that will enrich Africa. My own question is, it will really be good to solicit much funding, for example, from the United Nations, and make a visible, structures and places where we can expand this vision to places like Nigeria and other parts of Africa, so we can have like academies where young people undergo some physical training, because most of the times online training are insightful and indeed educative, but not as physical, process of learning. Therefore, if there is any way we can actualize this, it will be important and it will help our mother Africa. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, for sure. So UN actually is one of our partners. in UN Burundi, where we have our office, is one of our partners. But you see, partners come a long way. We started 2 years ago, so partners will come along as we build structures and reach out to people who are interested in working with us. And we don't want also to see push the UN agenda, because kind of UN agenda is not our agenda,
Yes.
Yeah, so we have to partner. It's quid pro quo. If you understand quid pro quo, it's give and take. So you have to understand like some key areas you can partner, and there's no problem with collaboration. After all, that's why we preach diplomacy, dialogue, and have open conversation with the partners who can help boost the dream bigger. And we are looking also a way out we can partner with government programs in different African countries that come along with some time too. So you're very right. All right, we don't want to take much of your time. I want to say.
Question.
Okay, please, yeah, be quick. Yeah.
My name is Grace Kanja. I'm 17 years old. I'm from Zambia. I wanted to ask, does the African Rebirth cohort help in like scholarship applications, recommendations, where like the background of leadership, quality, or the things that you've participated in, does it help in the scholarship application?
No, we don't help we are not like an education institution that help, applications. So if someone tells you we helping people to apply, no, that's not what we do for sure. But if you ask me a recommendation and you've been our member, cohort member, I can just draft a recommendation to you. It's no problem with
Yes,
that.
that's what I mean. I was asking about recommendation.
Yeah, but that's me as a person, not as an organization. Out of goodwill. Yeah, that's like me out of goodwill. I can just write for you and a recommendation. But as African Rebirth, we don't help people apply for either jobs or education related stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. So thank you very much. Please keep time, and we enjoy. I personally feel you're a vibrant, energetic, awesome people, and we're gonna rock it and have the best out of it for both of us, either on our side as African Rebirth, but also most important, your side, what you pick, and at the end of the day, what you take out to the world will be very, very important there. So it's a beginning of journey. Next week, we are starting off. We have no time to delay. We are kicking off our first seminar on entrepreneurship this Saturday. So please get in touch. I know there are many who didn't make it up. Probably they won't see the next meeting because it's very, very important. So like I told you, please remember that. And second thing, please, no one is going to read for you WhatsApp messages in the group, endeavor to check WhatsApp messages concerning, and we shall regulate because it could be many messages coming in. So we shall regulate that a bit also to have a bit of time to do that. So thank you very much. If you have further questions, please, you can inbox me, but I don't think we can take more time after here. I'll hand it back to Cephas. Thank you, Cephas, for being a good moderator, and everyone for attending. Please keep time, and we enjoy the best of us all. So thank you very much on my side.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Anna. We appreciate your time and we appreciate your presentation. Given us the basic information that, of course, I believe each and everyone who attended has gotten some information that will be very important, so that in the long run, you shall benefit. And by the end of the day, you shall not probably say that I did not understand this, I did not understand that, because by the end of the day, you have been well equipped with whatever you need to do. So in my final remarks, I'll have to leave everyone with a quote which says that a man who sells eggs in the market will not start a fight. A man who sells eggs in the market will never start a fight. In terms of interests as Africans, when we have a common interest, and especially the economic interest, definitely by the end of the day, we shall be peace-loving people, because we'll want to protect our businesses, we want to protect our sources of income. And by the end of the day, indeed, it shall be united and a prosperous Africa. And we are Africans, and Africa is our business. So with that, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me this chance. And of course, it's a chance to keep on building my skills. Of course, it's a time for me, and I consider this a great privilege. So with that, I would like to end the meeting. Of course, now everyone is free to leave at their own pleasure. We can all leave. Thank you for attending.